Now that we know what type of home you're going to build, let's figure out how much it's going to cost. As mentioned earlier, you'll need a rough cost in order to figure out whether or not the home site and house will fit your budget. The total cost of your home is made up of two components, soft cost and hard costs. Soft costs are any costs that are not directly related to construction. Things like permit fees, impact fees, utilities, taxes, loan interest, and tap fees. You get the idea. Soft costs are found by working with your lender and municipality and local utility companies. Your lender will give you an estimate of the loan costs and loan interest. The municipality will help you with permit fees, impact fees, and tap fees. Hard costs include all material and labor to build your home. Here you can see a sample budget which gives a typical breakdown of the total cost. For example, roofing should be about 3% of the total house cost. These percentages will give you some guidance for putting together your budget. As always, keep in mind, costs can vary depending on the materials and location. So an asphalt roof in Pittsburgh isn't really comparable to a tile roof in San Diego, but this should still give you a good starting point. As for hard costs, we don't want to spend a whole lot of time and money at this point bidding the house out to subcontractors. Instead, there are several decent sources for estimating residential construction based on the square footage. In my experience, the most user-friendly and accurate resource for estimating square foot cost is Means Contractor's Pricing Guide, Residential Square Foot Costs. Basically, with this book, you just plug in your region of the country, your plan type, and general specifications, and it spits out a rough cost for completing your home. A good double check of your rough estimate is to work backwards from new home sales prices in the area. Take the sales price of a new home similar to the one you'll build and reduce it by 20% for land and then another 20% for builder profit, and this will give you a very rough estimate for the cost to build your home. Keep in mind, this is only a rough estimate. Estimating the cost of a home by the square foot is like pricing a car by the pound. The quality of materials and finishes you choose will affect the cost in a big way. Okay, now that you have a rough estimate of the cost for building your home, add your lot price to it to get the actual total rough estimated cost. If this falls within your budget, great, you're ready to continue. If the total costs exceed the amount your loan officer thinks you can comfortably afford, you need to go back to the drawing board. Maybe the size or the style of the house you've chosen is out of whack with your budget. But that's okay. Don't forget, you're in charge. You have options. List your priorities to decide what's most important and work from there. If square footage is what's most important to you, and your original choice was a ranch, how about switching to a two-story instead? Like we said before, building up instead of out can save you money. For myself, I like to have a cushion in my budget. So at this point, I'd like to make sure the total estimated rough budget is at least 10% below what I'm comfortable spending. This is really a good idea since your cost numbers at this point are just what the name says, rough. After your bids come back from the subcontractors, you'll have a much better idea of your true costs. And if you're over budget at that time, you can adjust your specifications to bring your costs in line with your budget. Okay, so now you know what you're going to build, where you're going to build it, and roughly how much you're going to spend. But like we said before, you don't want to have to lift a hammer. So, who's going to do all this work for you? It's time to find your subcontractors.